So how are we going to become like climate conscious and be aware, like awareness to this whole bullshit that's going on? I mean, look, listen. How is it evident? You might be asking, right? It's evident because you can see changes in weathers. I mean, seasons. You don't even know what season it is. I mean, it's like it's supposed to be summer now. It's raining, and then you go into other parts of the world where it's snowing when it's supposed to be sunny. Do you know what I'm saying? It's quite fucked. Do you know what I'm saying? But my trauma culture, look, listen, let me just break it down to you. Man, climate change is important because when I went up to and I just, want to talk about this before I make a video to talk about climate change in detail, right? The reason why I think, people are aware, and I think people are aware that there is something going on here. You know what I'm saying, especially if they're from the specific countries. I'm saying they see changes in weathers, and they see I mean, if you go to parts of South America or Central America or parts of Asia, parts of Africa, right? You're gonna see like the harvest of a harvest for a farmer. It's a decline because why? Because the temperature is so warm that the soil does not have the required conditions to germinate seeds or to create high yield of produce. You know what I'm saying? Which is concerning. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a country that has a lot of if the country has a big population. You know what I'm saying? But just hear me out. This is what I've talked to people from Extinction Rebellion, and this is what they said to me, right? Obviously, like you've got the COP conferences, which is the Conference of Parties, right? So a few years back, there was a COP Conference of Parties, which took place in Scotland. I'm saying, I think it was in Glasgow, and then there was one that was I think it was in Belgium, and then one recently which was in I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. I'm saying Egypt. I'm saying Cairo, where world leaders met up, and especially if you know about the G20 summit. I'm saying, but world leaders met up for COP, right, conferences where it's about climate change. It's about sustainable living, sustainable procedures that have to be put in place to create a healthy environment for the future generations. I'm saying, so I think it's important. So if you see the COP conference of parties, right, which took place in Glasgow, they talked about the 2030 goal and the 2050 goal. And why is it important? Because I mean, 2030 is just like about 4 years away. You know what I'm saying? We're in year 2026. I'm saying, I think this the Glasgow one happened about 2022 or 2023. I'm saying, but now it's 2026, and about 4 years from now it's going to be 2030. I'm saying, and also why is it important? Because when this conference did take place, they talked about something that's important. They talked about how are they going to phase out coal, one of the highest consumption of fossil fuels to this day, right? It's coal. You know what I'm saying? Coal is a big commodity, you say, right? It's a big resource that a lot of developing countries are relying upon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at countries like I mean, who was the biggest user of coal at one point? It was the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? China. You know what I'm saying? I mean, China is the highest consumer of coal. You know what I'm saying? But then and also India too. You know what I'm saying? So all these world leaders came together, and I remember watching this, and I think it was Boris Johnson who turned up to this conference of parties in Scotland, right? And they had a bit of a conversation. You know what I'm saying? They talked about how they're going to phase out coal, and you might be asking, what does phase out coal mean? I'm saying, if you're not unaware of climate change and the procedures and whatnot, right? Phasing out coal means how they're going to stop using coal completely to use a alternative energy source that's going to replace coal. So there's going to it's going to help the larger community, which is the world. You know what I'm saying? So they had a goal of phasing out coal, I think by 2030, and I think it was by 2030 or 2035. I mean, have we reached any progress? Fuck no. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, realistically speaking, man, the world is burning way more coal than ever compared to about a couple of years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? So their goal was to phase out coal, remove coal from the face of the planet, and I'm like, that's great, because everything's good when it's said, you know what I'm saying, by some politician, and and I gotta be honest with you, right? I mean, if I was a politician, I was like, you know what? hey man, we're gonna create a utopian society where everyone's gonna eat for free, right? It sounds all good, you know what I'm saying? Imagine if I was to become the Prime Minister of the UK. And I'm like, you know what, man? Nobody gotta pay for their meal, man. I'm saying everything's gonna be free, man. I'm saying everyone will be like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's vote for Brown, man. Yay! Yay, Brown! Yay! Hey, do a little shoulder, a little dab for Brown, man. Free food, yeah, motherfuckers. Uh, but the thing is, that can never happen because people gotta pay for this shit. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you is, it's 4 years from 2030. They have a goal of phasing out coal, and I think there's been some measures that's been took place. I'm saying, but man, third world countries rely highly upon coal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, least economically developed countries, right? Countries that are least economically developed, right, can never afford a high energy source because it's going to cost a lot of capital. I'm saying, money to what's more cheaper, coal or trying to use renewable energy? Coal, right? I'm saying so. Third world countries are going to be in a situation where they can't afford to use renewable energy or like any form of high cost energy because even though it's safer, because coal is way more cheaper. So I'm saying you can get a bulk of it for a cheaper price than way more money. I'm saying so. Why is it a concern for me? Because it's 2030 now. In about 4 years, 2026. They said by 2030 phase out coal. Never gonna happen. So I'm saying get the air guitars out for that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna tell you is we I hope like these next 2 years the conference of parties like everyone pull up together, right, and talk about how they're gonna actually do this, man. I remember like when I was watching an interview from this girl. She was on the stage, world stages of COP conferences, right? This is about 20 something years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like her saying, "We need to do this, we need to do that," and everyone's like, "You know what? Let's give her a cap, man. Let's give her a cap." You know what I'm saying? She's making a whole bunch of like waves out there, air guitar out for her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's been over 20 years and there's been no change. I'm saying, I think world leaders are, for me personally speaking, right, from what I took away from these conferences, but just having knowledge and speaking to people within the Extinction Rebellion community, right? What I gotta tell you, man, I met a lot of intellectuals, man. Like I met marine biologists. I'm saying in these conferences, smart motherfuckers, man. I gotta tell you, they're smart as hell. I'm saying a marine biologist, like that studies the oceans, the sea life, the ecosystem of the sea. I'm saying like of everything that comes up from the bacterial plants and bullshit. You know what I'm saying, to fish, to whatever. You know what I'm saying, that's in the ocean. You know what I'm saying, marine biologist who studies plant, whatever. You know what I'm saying, I've been to conferences, interviews. Then I turned up to what is it? A separate, activism a few years back, which was to do with renewable energy. So when I pulled up in, there was talk on how to use hydrogen to create, hydrogen-powered, vehicles. I'm saying. So when I pulled up to that, the entire conversation was about hydrogen-powered, vehicles, which is great. But then, is it going to be cost-effective? So I'm saying that's the question that we always got to ask. Then I pulled up to another, event that took place, and it was like in a coffee shop. The person, I think he traveled to Indonesia, Thailand. He was British fella, right? English fella. He pulled up to all these islands around, like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines and stuff, and studied the marine life. So I'm saying there, and but what he said was like, how are they preserving the environment for species in that region, and what are the steps they do? Which I'm saying, I mean, he went into the whole like breeding cycles, and also cleaning up the ocean and crap. I'm saying it was good. Look, so but when I was at this place, then he started talking about the same thing, which was to do with hydrogen-powered fuels. I'm saying, but I turned up to another interview where it was given by a lady. You know what I'm saying, and she this whole event, this panel that was there, right, they were discussing about autonomous vehicles, how to use autonomous vehicles, but also energy efficient vehicles that doesn't have fossil fuels, are battery powered to create a sustainable planet for the world. You know what I'm saying? Look, listen. Even though the conference was about autonomous vehicle, what's important is just to realize that when I pulled up to that, man, I was having a good time. You know what I'm saying? I was getting my air guitars out. That's all I gotta tell you, man. So when I pulled up there, the theme, like any of these events to do with vehicles or like marine biology or whatever, right? The theme was always to do with climate change, because if it's vehicles that's pulling up right now, Tesla, autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles, right, or anything that you see, even businesses right now incorporating things like. I remember working for like this organic, like fruit place where they make like basket of fruit for businesses, right? Trying to find ethical, sustainable ways of creating produce that's going to help the larger collective, which is the world community of the human gene pool, right? You know what I'm saying? So. What I'll tell you, man, is that when I turned up to these events, everything was always to do with the climate change and how it's having an effect. You know what I'm saying? So, in my drama culture, look, listen. What I'll tell you, man, why is it important? Why am I bringing all this up before I even start a talk on the greenhouse gases, the stratosphere, the troposphere, or just to talk about just climate change in general, right? It's because back to the 2030 goal. Why is it important? Because it's important because 2030 is coming up, 2026 now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's important because I think the goals are not met, because here's the issue, right? World leaders come up and they say, you know what, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that world leaders are still trying to focus on what's important, which is creating a sustainable environment, and also an environment that's healthy to the future generations. I'm saying, but then again, for me, some of the goals are not going to be met by 2030 because I think it's lack of education, a lack of understanding how much of an impact this is going to have, but also ignorance. So I mean, people, if you ask people, would you want to cut a tree or do you want to have £1,000? People's going to choose, let's just cut the tree. I'm saying. So what I'm going to tell you is, hey man, my drama culture, let me just get the air guitars out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what I'm going to break down to you, right? Simple is that we got for me, when I make this video, I'm going to pull up somewhere else, like in another place, make the content. So if you're watching this, make sure you watch the content after this, because I'm going to be, labeling it as, what is climate change? Ta-da! You know what I'm saying? So, hey, let me just break it down to you. 2030, 50 goal. For me personally, it's not going to be met. And what's the 2050 goal? Carbon net zero. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why it's not going to be met is because of lack of education. And I think there has to be a specific syllabus that needs to be designed in schooling systems for people to understand why it's important and what kind of effect it's going to have. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, listen. I'm gonna make another video about something, and I'm gonna finish off on that, and get the air guitars out. Today, let's get it, man. Peace and love. And if you haven't checked out all my content, go to YouTube, type in Jacob Brown Official, and have a blast. I remember pulling up down there a while back, and there was a fella from Greece who was just talking about Greek girls the entire time. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, peace and love, and let's get it, man.